but it's definitely gonna it's definitely gonna be different for sure. Um, and I think that's good. You know, maybe it's time to you know, for the studio to change. And I think that Peter Lord and David Sproston thought the same way. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that, but you know, it's one of those things that time will tell what happens. So good luck to Aardman. All right, so now, so this week it's already been 15 minutes. We got 45 minutes we can spend on this. So just to let you guys know, I didn't stop working on the Bad Apples project just because we didn't have a live show the past 2 weeks. I did work on it a bit on my own, and so I've made actually quite a few aspects of it for importing into Moho. So if you guys have been following, I guess it was about maybe, well, it's been a long time, but we have all of these photos here that we took. In fact, we have one more puppet to build in clay before we can call the clay, you know, the clay sculpting portion done. One character I forgot to do, as well as I do have to photograph one set, which I thought I photographed and didn't. But we've got all these pictures, and we cleaned them up, and we've got all these cleaned up versions here. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking the cleaned up versions, and which are let me show you guys really quickly. Where's the king at? Here's the king. So here you can see the king is actually one photo of a lot of different faces. And so we had to separate all of these and then put them in layers so that all the faces are together with the body and the arms and the head, and everything is kind of lined up. And that is what you see here. So we have a completed puppet, so to speak. And so this is, you know, what he looks like. Now, I figured out a few things with this, and that is adding shadows helps to make this, to sell this character, the king, to make it look like he's actually not just in layers, but actually, you know, like the clay on glass look, which is where the top layer might cast a shadow on the lower layer as well. Hey Ken, yeah, missing link. I haven't had time to post news about that, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a big announcement with Aardman's new project, or Leica's new project. Sorry. So let me see here. So for this week, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be erasing all of these green lines around the king's face. That's my goal. And so this is called green spill, and this line is pretty much because the faces were too close to the green below it, and so the green light had splashed onto our clay. So I'm going to be getting rid of that. And I'm just going to click shift and use my eraser and just go around each one and get rid of this green. But yeah, Missing Link seems really cool. I've seen the trailer and everything, all the footage that they released. It looks great. I mean, personally, you know, if you guys want to know my opinion, I mean, it seems like it's really polished. They've really taken 3D printing and whatnot to such a degree that it's nearly perfect. Honestly speaking, I mean, I think our Leica is doing a great job with that. So Hoserlu says there was another trailer of Missing Link just released, but since I hadn't posted something about the movie a couple of weeks ago, I let it go. Oh, okay. Whoops. Yeah, I mean, I mean, right now they're just coming out with snips here and there and some. Yeah, it looks really great, but there's going to be so much information that we're bombarded with here pretty soon anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Because they have been working on it for a long time already, and it's not really a secret, you know. You know, it's been a while since I've seen a stop motion film in a theater, strangely enough. We haven't. The last movie that we went to see was that Rich Asians movie, um, which was okay. It wasn't a bad movie. It was kind of like a romantic comedy thing. But normally with my son, because he just turned 10, so we always see a lot of kids movies, but for the most part they've been CGI. That's the thing with kids movies. A lot of them are. I think Wreck-It Ralph just came out with a trailer, or Wreck-It Ralph 2. There's like a new version of it, and stop motion's pretty rare. And I don't know if it's what was that one film? Oh, they God, what is the name of that film again already? Oh boy, can't remember the name of it already. It's the one with the fox, going back a while back with the actor who was in that TV show ER. God, what's wrong with my brain lately? Anyway, where I live, they're not really fond, I guess, of stop motion films. And one time, they announced that there was going to be a stop motion film released in the theaters, and I was excited about it. And then I went to go see it, and it wasn't there. They had removed it after like literally 2 days that it was out. And I remember my worst memory of going to see a stop motion film was James and the Giant Peach. That was my worst memory because I was so excited about it. I had actually gone to the studio to see, how it was being made, and my friend Webster had invited me to see the work they, the progress they were doing on that film. And I went out to California, and I went to the theater to see it, and we were the only people in the theater. Nobody wanted to see that movie, and it was a big box office flop. And I saw that movie, I guess, like 3 times in the theater when it came out because I was so excited. And it was like nobody cared about it. So I live in Missouri, and it's a red state, and there's not a lot of art people out here. Sad to say, art is hard to come by where I live. Everybody goes to California, all the filmmakers and stuff. And yeah, that's it. George Clooney and Fantastic Mr. Fox. Yeah, they released it, and then I went to go see that film, and went to the theater all excited and ready to pay, and yeah, they just were like, we're not going to show this film. And my actual city made the news. It was on national news because it was so pathetic. One of the pastors in our city here. This is not to mock religion, okay? Because I don't care if people are, I don't care about what people believe. I have my own beliefs, of course. Everybody does. But they were mocking the fact that yoga was, if you're into yoga, it's like it has roots in Satanism and all this other stuff, and the whole country is like, what are you just laughing at us? So where I live is somewhat backwards. And stuff that I like, is not well liked in my community. So Hoserloo says, I didn't like James and the Giant Peach much either. I'm not saying that I really liked it as a film. I was more excited about it because, I mean, how old was I when that came out? it was basically a kids film, but I was more excited because that was coming off the tail of Monkey Bone, I guess, and Nightmare Before Christmas, because Henry Selick was at his peak around that time. He was making all these films that were stop motion, and they all had a similar theme to them, right? Because it's sort of like that Alice in Wonderland thing where a character goes kind of through a tunnel and they're transformed. Like you'll notice that in Coraline, for example, the whole Alice in Wonderland theme, or some of his earlier works, like Strange Bob in the other dimension, or whatever it was called. Um, that's what he's known for, and I really like that kind of idea and that sort of theme. It's fun, and I was always into Alice in Wonderland, just in terms of the craziness of the characters, and how you had to really use your brain to figure out what the heck was going on and stuff, and so I kind of in line with that with Henry Selick. So when his films came out, I was excited, of course, but more excited because of the person who made it than maybe the film itself. So I really wanted to support it and go and spend my money on it, and you know what I mean? Like you're just kind of uh, like a stop motion activist, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like you're like, yes, this is stop motion. We need to support it. We need to pay, and just I don't know. That was kind of my attitude at the time, So I went out there and there was nobody in the theater. So Obuski says they are working on Chicken Run too. Wow, I didn't know that. I mean, I briefly heard that, but I thought it might have been just a rumor. So if they're actually working on it, that's pretty cool. I've been trying to find the footage of some of the CGI stuff they did for that, because um, I had this article where I was trying to show how you can use VR tools to pre-visualize your your film, through animatics. And I know that Aardman did a lot of CG stuff with, I think it was Chicken Run. So they would pre-animate everything just to get the timing and all that kind of stuff right. And um, so I've been trying to find the footage for that, and I can't find it on YouTube anywhere. I don't know if it's been copyrighted and taken down, or what happened, but um, they definitely tried a lot of experimental things, and Aardman's really cutting edge in some ways. And I think between Leica and Aardman, they're kind of they're very open to the newer technologies to help stop motion out. Like let's see here, almost 8:30. Okay. Um, but James and the Giant Peach, I didn't find it to be like the most amazing film in the world. And I Love Dogs, Hoser Lou says it didn't really do much for him, I guess, as well. And Ken says, do you feel lonely? Try West Virginia. See, I heard that West Virginia is really beautiful. I don't know. Hoser Lou says he's been to Martinsburg 3 times. My favorite state that I lived in is Pennsylvania. I still wish I could live there. Really love that state. I mean, it's really beautiful there. They have a lot of old, um, like old houses that are historical, and they've got lots of farms, and the Amish community is, they've got like the foods and things, and the craftsmanship of their woodworking and all that that they sell in markets, and a lot of things that you don't really see where I live. I was living in York, Pennsylvania. It's, I guess, south of Harrisburg, so where the airport is and stuff. You kind of go south a ways. Um, I lived on Druck Valley Road, which it was right near a sort of, I want to call it a not a national forest, but a park. You know, a nice forested park. And evidently, I was told when I lived there that that particular park was sort of a dump early on, and then they just managed it and grew it, and grew the trees and stuff. And there are like lots of deer in there, so like in the early mornings you'd see just like a whole family of deer in your backyard and everything. And my neighbors were a little bit crazy, but we had one guy that was drunk all the time. Drunk. And if I was working in the garage on my film projects and I was too noisy, he'd be drunk. He'd like come over to our house, and he'd just like bang really hard on our garage door, you know. So I guess I made that guy mad. That's one of the people that didn't like me very much. But truth be told, I was pretty pretty darn noisy, because I was renovating the garage to make it my studio, and banging on stuff with sledgehammers and stuff really late at night. So I was not very nice to do that. Let's see. Oops. Gonna move this arm out here so I can work on it. See how this looks. Well, it's not too bad, actually. Alright, let's leave that there. So Ken says the more he watches Isle of Dogs, the more he likes it. Yeah, I should have. I don't know if that one was in the theaters here as well. But I should have, I should have tried to see if it was. Because that film I heard had really great reviews. See, my only complaint is that the designs to me were not very appealing. There's a certain style that I like. Let's save this. Certain style that I like. I love dogs. I don't care for the look of the film. Let me see here. So, so you're about 3 hours from Philly, maybe 2. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And Hoser Lou says, Isle of Dogs is wonderfully shot and looks great. I just don't like the way it was shot. And yeah, like I say, there's a certain design appeal that I think the film is not up to. I just don't like the style. I'll just leave it at that. Let's see, Kid 2. I'm gonna open up all these here and see what we've got. Ah. Remember this. So, I was thinking I was done with this already, but I don't believe I am. I'm gonna close these. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2. All right. So I need to add these mouths to our kid. Which is easy. This will hopefully this will take up the rest of our time, most likely. Hey, Peter. Welcome to the live show. Hopefully you're having a good day. We were just working on some, well, different faces that we're going to use, replacement faces for our project. And these are pretty easy to do. So if you guys recall, one of the tricks I did was instead of trying to resculpt all these faces, I just made one face. And then I'm just copying and pasting over these side faces over onto here because the hair on this particular character would be really hard to duplicate between replacement faces. So all this hair would have to be exactly the same for each one, and that would be really tough to do by hand. So we're kind of cheating a bit. Just a little bit. Gonna make this look good. Gonna erase some stuff on here. Gonna position this mouth in a better way here because it's looking a bit strange. I don't know. That's probably okay. So Ken says, I use a similar method for my cartoons. Ah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, this definitely... I know I've recently seen some footage from my friend Webster, who he posted some videos of original Clay on Glass animations, and I'm still skeptical as to how I'm gonna like this when it's done, to be honest. So, you know, this is more like an experimental film, and I'm hoping it'll work, and maybe I'll really like it, but I think the classic hand animated stuff is almost always a little bit better than the cutout stuff that you see digitally, like what I'm doing here, but we will find out. Try something here. I think that's better. I'm gonna put it this way. Flip that around. Which reminds me, so this character, this little kid, he's gonna be looking left and right, so I'll probably reverse most of these faces and make duplicates of him. So he can look left and right. But if he does that, his hair is going to be kind of the opposite. It might look really obvious if I do that. So maybe I'll have to change the hair on at least one of these, like without the mouth. Kind of switch things around. So let's see. We got the smile. We got the ooh shape. Do this. See if I can make this bigger as well, so you guys can see what I'm doing. So Peter says, I was obsessed with how Joan Gratz made her Clay on Glass animations for Wolverine Studios. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, some of that stuff is... it was done on a like a rig, which, see, when I worked at Gentleman Films, we did it slightly different than the way that Joan Gratz did things. Their setup was to have it on like a glass pane that was at a 45-degree angle, sort of to the camera. Well, not to the camera. The camera would have been over the animator's head, facing, down at a 45-degree glass table. So I don't know how they kept things from sliding around on their system, but it definitely worked. And they did a lot of stuff for Disney as well, if you've ever seen those. Get rid of those. Let me see something here. So I just realized, so I've got two different frowns. Guess this would be pretty good to use like in a sequence. Or a transformation from one pouty mouth to the next. I might do something here. Let's see. So I'll clean this off here. Yeah, it's gonna look really dumb because the lighting it doesn't match. It's gonna have to be a frown. Hey Janet, long time no see. Ken says Joan recently did a piece for the film The Prophet, directed by Roger Ehlers from The Lion King. Cool. Yeah, she's getting kind of old. I hope that she releases more stuff. Keeps working on things, because she is like a rare talent. Like, not too many people do what she does at all. So I was invited to join the Wolvinton. There's a Facebook group that shows all these like personal photos from Wolvinton Studios from about that time where Joan Gratz was working with the studio and all of that. They were just in their prime, so to speak, and creatively. And it was really cool to see a lot of the photos that they were posting in there, and just how much fun they seem to have been having, working for Wolvinton and just at the studio and being free to create and do different things, and just the admiration they had for Wolvinton also is really nice, because Wolvinton passed away just a few weeks back, so it's still fresh in a lot of their minds, having worked with him. But to see how they do things is always really exciting. Alright, so let me see here. So we got all the mouths on this character, the kid. So let me see here. This particular mouth I'm going to do something with. I'm going to kind of change it a bit. So I don't want this one to look like the one in the center here, because it would just look too similar. Can I give him an off kilter kind of a smile? And let's see, do any of these look too similar to each other? I think the U shape here, let's see. I do something similar with this other face once I can find out where the mouth is. Here it is. Thinking, put this mouth like this. But what's up with this face below it? That's the weird part about it. What was I doing? There it is. I'm gonna delete that. I'm not sure why I had another mouth there. Probably had a reason, but I can't remember now. Hey Randy, welcome back. What do I think about the Missing Link trailer? Well, we talked about that earlier. It looks really good. It's very polished and very clean, and the animation looks nice. Characters look interesting. Story sounds kind of funny, so yeah. And Peter says, I wish I could have gotten a chance to work there. It was a dream studio for Claymation. Yeah. I think we all felt that way, especially, you know, like, you know, mid to late 90s was when they were, that was a great time, you know, that just seems like, or even mid 80s, like 85 to 87, they were doing a lot of stuff. But anyways, yeah, I mean, it was just, it would have been awesome. I mean, if you could just have a time machine and go back in time and send your resume there, you know, it's... Let's see, okay, so I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to save this. It's hard for me to walk and chew gum at the same time, so I know that what I'm talking about is I'm kind of going off topic, I think, a lot, but that's the way my brain is. Yeah. So we talked about we did talk about Missing Link, and we talked about Aardman for a bit, how their employees have taken over in a mass revolt. Very horrible thing. No, I mean, I'm sure you guys have already heard the stories. So you know about Aardman, right, Randy? They gave ownership over to their employees. And Randy says that he worked at the studio in the late 90s. It was awesome. Actually, I can probably put this together now, can't I? Because the faces are done. Okay. It's time to... First, I'm going to clean this up a bit. There we go. See what this does. Oop. Doesn't do anything. I think I'll leave that though. So the other thing, Randy, that we talked about was we're going to actually get a copy. We're going to be changing out the 5-week challenges. So we're going to have a thing where people can just post their work and we can discuss it during the live shows. So that'd be kind of cool, you know, kind of fun. 1600 by, let's go with this. And why don't I have legs for this side view on this one? What was I thinking? I didn't really plan that very nicely, did I? Gonna have to cut the legs off the other one. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Randy. Hopefully people will think it's also, fun to just kind of post their recent work and we can discuss it and maybe learn from it, like have a thing where, see, copy merged, where, so like every 2 weeks or so, we could discuss people that post into the forum as opposed to the 5-week challenges. Like, we could do it more frequently and see what people are up to, and then if they have questions, and with all the people that come to the chat, we can have different solutions for one problem and give people different opinions and solutions. And see here, I hope this works. But yeah, if anybody out there, like I said, watching this, who isn't watching it live, finds it later and wants to give their opinion about the new way we're going to do things, please do. And I'm trying to make it fun for everybody. I'm going to put these legs here. And I'm going to clean this up. Zoom in first. I have not seen that, Janet. I didn't see that. Is it like a video game? I'm taking it. It's got to be a video game, right? That sounds interesting. 1111 memories recorded? No. Have not. Yeah, I almost wonder if we should have also in there, like, because we're going to do our thing where we discuss people's projects, but maybe we can have a thing where we discuss news articles as well. So if people want to post things to talk about, like video games or maybe blogs or something like that. Okay, so we got some legs. Got our body. The background I'm going to make gray just for the sake of being able to see. Oops. Where that green stuff is that I need to delete. Or erase here. Oops, wrong one. So once we bring this into Moho, it should be kind of fun to see how this all plays out during the animation, how it will look. So when I put these on top of my backgrounds and stuff, will everything match with the lighting and all that? I'm kind of curious. I mean, technically my lighting is the same for my sets as it is for these characters. I didn't change it, so there'd be continuity. So it should technically work, but time will tell. There's definitely somewhat of a green line around this whole thing here. Hopefully it won't be visible on the backgrounds, but we'll just get rid of it anyways. So it's about a soldier in World War, maybe World War One. That's pretty kind of interesting. I was talking to my father the other day about war and how it's such a horrible thing, and a lot of crazy stuff happens in war, so stories about it are always good, you know, to maybe persuade people not to have to create wars in the first place, which would be nice. Not really sure if that ever helped in history. I think people know the horrors of war, but trying to prevent it, I think, is a big problem. But I think it starts with, you know, with people and understanding how things, you know, work, and trying to make change, you know, for the better, however it's possible. That's what this film is about, trying to prevent people from hating people that are from other countries, basically. So it's always good to try to do that kind of thing. I'm sure Aardman, the people there, are kind of feel similarly, I would guess. Now, one of the things that I discovered when I was working on the King is to put drop shadows on these things here. So I'm going to do that now. Drop shadow, and then make the angle 90 degrees. Make the distance a little bit further. Increase the size a bit, and then the opacity comes down. So it looks like it's got some distance between the layers. Sort of like that. It's subtle, but definitely helps things look better. I don't need to do that for this one because there's already a shadow, as you can see, because the legs are actually attached to it. But since the legs here are not attached to this body, that just kind of helps it a little. So I might actually maybe make that slightly, let me see, slightly darker. That's a little bit better. I might tweak that another time, really perfect that, but I think it's close enough. And I'll have to do that with all the faces I attach to this as well. So I'm going to say this as, let's see, Bad Apples, Moho, is it? No. It's going to be Kid 2. Okay, very good. So I guess what we'll do next week is we're going to have to attach all of the arms as well as the faces in layers above this. There's just one little thing that's bugging me, and that is this little stray pixel from my camera. Let's get rid of that. Let's go with size 9. Let's get rid of that little pixel there. There we go. That looked pretty good. Yep, Janet, I agree. yeah, trying to make money through creating weapons that kill people is a bad idea. Very bad. I agree with that. All right. Well, anyway, everybody. So, like I said, I will work on the web page. I'm gonna try to fix those images that the image upload size, which is broken currently. I'm gonna try to get to the bottom of that, and I'm gonna work on also the 5-week challenges. I'm gonna change that to something else. Call it something else. If you guys have any ideas on what we can call it, of course, leave a comment. That would be helpful. And I will see you guys all next week. Same time, same place. See you all later.